Good morning, students. Asmita teacher here. In the last lecture, we had discussed about the theme and the central idea of the poem A Time to Believe by B.J. Mobitzer. In today's presentation, we will be learning about the poetic devices used in this poem. Let's consider the rhyming words and the rhyme scheme for this poem. If you carefully observe, you will find that there are no rhyming words or rhyme scheme in the poem. That means this poem is a free verse. A poem without a rhyming scheme, which does not have rhyming words, is said to be a free verse. This poem, A Time to Believe, is a free verse. Before we move further to learn the poetic devices, it is very important for you all to understand two terms. One is literal language and the other is figurative language. It is very important to understand the difference between the literal language and the figurative language. Let's discuss about these two concepts first before we go to the poetic devices. Understanding this concept of literal language versus figurative language will help you understand figures of speech in a better manner. In languages, words have two meanings depending on the way they are used. First is the literal meaning and the second is the figurative meaning. Literal means whatever is being said is meant as per the words being used. That is the dictionary meaning of the word. For example, Lata Mangeshkar sings very sweetly. Whereas figurative means drawing a mental picture of whatever is being said. It helps to convey an idea faster and more clearer. Example, Lata Mangeshkar sings like a cuckoo. The second example develops a picture in our mind and our understanding is better. If you observe the examples, you will see that Lata Mangeshkar sings like a cuckoo does not mean that Lata Mangeshkar and cuckoo are the same or their voice is the same. Here you will find a comparison between the sweetness in the voice of Lata Mangeshkar and the sweetness of the sound of a cuckoo. Here you will find a comparison made between the singing skills of Lata Mangeshkar to those of a cuckoo. This is what we call it as a figurative language. Let's consider few more examples. Literal language examples. I move very fast. His mind is very cool. We can't see the sun at night. In these examples, you will find that whatever information is being given is very clear, very straight, and exactly the words mean what is their meaning in the dictionary. Let's consider the examples of figurative language. I move fast like a cheetah. His mind is as cool as a cucumber. The sky misses the sun at night. Now, if you observe these examples, when I say I move very fast, and the same sentence I say as I move fast like a cheetah, I am comparing my speed with the great speed of a cheetah. Does that mean that I am a cheetah? Or really I can run like a cheetah? No. It means that I can run very fast. When I say that his mind is as cool as a cucumber, can somebody's mind be a cucumber? No. Here it means that the cucumber is a cold substance. It gives coolness to your body. Same way, that person's mind is also very cool. He is not at all an aggressive person. His mind is very cool. Similarly, the third example, the sky misses the sun at night. Missing is a feeling of humans. Non-living things do not show such feelings. Then too, the sky is said to be missing the sun. In reality, the sky does not miss the sun. Missing is a human feeling, which means that we can't see the sun at night. So, we can conclude saying that literal language is the exact language used according to the dictionary, whereas figurative language is your way of creatively expressing your thoughts, your ideas, and your feelings so that whoever is reading it, whoever is listening to it, can get a better idea of what exactly you want to say or what exactly you are feeling. So, when exactly are you going to use literal language and when are we going to use figurative language? Let's see. Literal language is used whenever you are using some technical terms like an experiment where you want exact meanings of the word to be understood. Whereas figurative language is used whenever you want to make your work more interesting and dramatic, like a story, poem, or a play. I hope you all have understood what is the meaning of literal language and figurative language. Now, on the basis of whatever we have discussed now, let's learn one more concept called as figures of speech. This is a style of using figurative language in poetry. In this discussion, we will be explaining about few figures of speech which are used in this poem, A Time to Believe. A figure of speech is a word or phrase using figurative language, language that has other meaning than its normal definition. In other words, figures of speeches rely on implied or suggested meaning rather than a dictionary definition. The examples of figures of speech are, to name a few, simile, metaphor, and personification. The first figure of speech that we will be considering today is personification. It's a figure of speech where non-living objects are described to seem like having human qualities. Example, the sky weeps. The leaves wave with the wind. So if you look at the examples, you will find that the sky is being given the human quality of crying, of weeping. In reality, the sky does not cry. We can say that this sentence means that it is raining. When you look at the second example, the leaves wave with the wind. The leaves do not show the action of waving. It is a human action. Here it means that the leaves move along with the wind. Let's consider an example of personification from the poem. Find out this line from the poem. To believe is to see angels dancing among the clouds. The angels are given the human quality of dancing. So this sentence is using the figure of speech personification. The next figure of speech that we will be considering is alliteration. In alliteration, we will have the occurrence of the same sound at the beginning of closely connected words. That means same sound will be repeated again and again for giving a better poetic effect. Let's see some examples. She sells seashells by the seashore. The s and sh sound is repeated for better poetic effect. She, shells, shore, sh sound, sells, sea, s sound. These sounds are repeated for better poetic effect. Let's consider one more example. The chilling cold almost chopped him apart. Ch sound, chilling, chopped. Ch sound is repeated for better poetic effect. Let's see an example of alliteration from the poem. And all our hopes and dreams are within reach. And all are. A sound is repeated for better poetic effect. The figure of speech used in this sentence is alliteration. The next figure of speech is Synecdoche, a figure of speech in which a part is used to represent the whole or the whole is used to represent a part. Let's learn through some examples. Boots on the ground refers to soldiers. New wheels refers to a new car. Ask for her hand refers to asking a woman to marry. Here, the boots are a part that represent an entire soldier. Wheels are a part of a new car. Hand is a part of the woman. So, we are using a part of a thing or a part of the body to represent an entire person or thing. Let's consider another example. India won the match against England. Does it mean that the entire Indian population played against the entire England population and we were able to win? Or does it mean that the Indian team won against the England team? Here the word India is a whole representing a part team. This figure of speech is Synecdoche. Let's consider an example of Synecdoche from the poem. The innocence of a child's eyes. Here, the child's eyes represent the entire child. The entire child is innocent, not just his eyes. So, eyes are a part that represent the child. Second example. And the beauty of an aging hand. The hand represents the person. The entire person is growing old, not just the hand. So, hand is a part that represents the entire old person. The next figure of speech is epigram. Epigram is a brief, interesting, memorable, and sometimes surprising statement. Example, if we don't end war, war will end us. I am starting with the man in the mirror. So, if you observe these examples, these are very short, but they are very interesting. And at the same time, they have a great message hidden somewhere in them. Very simple to understand. The first example. If we don't end war, war will end us. Though the sentence is very short, it has got a great deep understanding into it. Similarly, whenever you want any improvement to happen, that improvement should always start with our own self. That is what your second example means. I am starting with the man in the mirror. So, whatever changes you want to make, first you have to start with yourself. That is epigram. The sentence is small, is short, is brief, but it is very interesting, memorable, and sometimes even surprising. Let's consider examples of epigram from our poem. You have got many examples of epigram in this poem. To believe is to know that every day is a new beginning. To believe is to know that we are not alone, that life is a gift and it is our time to cherish it. To believe is to know the value of a nurturing heart. To believe is to find the strength and courage that lies within us. To believe is to know that wonderful surprises are just waiting to happen. All these sentences are short statements which are used for a better poetic effect. The next figure of speech that we are considering is transferred epithet, a figure of speech in which a modifier, usually an adjective, qualifies a noun other than the person or thing it is actually describing. In other words, the modifier or the epithet is transferred from the noun it is meant to describe to another noun in the sentence. Let's get a better understanding with the help of examples. It was a sleepless night. A night cannot be sleepless. It's the person experiencing a night during which he or she cannot sleep who is sleepless. Here the epithet, that is the adjective sleepless, is transferred from the person to the night. She pointed an angry finger at me. Here the finger is not angry but the person is. The epithet, that is the adjective angry, is transferred from the person to the finger. Let's consider examples of transferred epithet from the poem. To believe is to know the value of a nurturing heart. The epithet nurturing is transferred from the person to the heart. It is the person who is nurturing, not just his heart. And the beauty of an aging hand. The epithet aging is transferred from the person to the hand. The person is aging, not just his hand. That is transferred epithet. That brings us to the end of our topic for today, that is the poetic devices for our poem A Time to Believe. I hope you people have understood whatever things are being described in this presentation. Any doubts, any difficulties, please feel free to ask. Thank you.